Okay. Welcome to Let's Be Frank. We're doing another remote recording because Herman's in our Cape Town office this week. Today we are talking about evil never wins. I'm not really sure where we're going to go with this, but it was something that I was thinking about a lot after the New Zealand mosque shooting, which happened, I think, 2 weeks ago now. And obviously there was a lot of, whenever something bad happens, there's always quite a big outrage and a lot of talk about it. And then as things start settling down, I find that the stories that come out of it are generally more positive than they are negative. Maybe I'm a bit of a naive dreamer, but I like to believe that evil doesn't win, that love wins. And I found this quote by a Canadian, because Canadians are the best people in the world, Aaron Paquet. And he says, every act of evil unleashes a million acts of kindness. This is why shadows will never win while there's still light to shine. And I find that I resonate with that. I agree with that. And I just think that from evil, there comes a lot of good. So that's kind of where the idea for the topic came from.
Yes, that's an interesting viewpoint. I'm not sure if I agree with that 100%. I think not just you, but most humans, I would actually like to say all humans, are optimistic by default.
Yeah.
Even the really pessimistic ones are optimistic.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what keeps us going. I mean, if you don't have that optimistic view, life will be so much harder.
Yeah.
But I mean, to say evil never wins, and I hear what you say about these wonderful acts of kindness and so on that you become so aware of after a tragedy like the one that you describe now. But to say evil never wins, evil fucking won on that day.
Yeah.
So I think it's got to do with what is that point that you pick.
Yeah. Well, I hear what you're saying.
To kind of balance the score.
Yeah.
So there's lots and lots of evil happening, way too much.
Yeah.
My view is because as humans, I believe that we are optimistic and we have no other choice. You've got to carry on.
Yeah.
You've got to try and make it better.
Yeah.
But I think it is a little bit simplistic to say evil never wins.
Yeah. So I think also for me, if I didn't believe that love wins, I would not be able to sleep at night. I mean, so maybe it is a bit of a coping mechanism as humans that we try to look at the positive and try to be optimistic. But like, I don't know, I suppose it helps me to think that there are more good people in the world and more people trying to do the right thing than there are people trying to commit evil and do bad things. I don't know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That I agree with 100%. Yeah. I think that if you take any group of people, whether you start in a community, in a nation, a continent, the world, I mean, you can even take a smaller group of people, like in your circle of friends, within your
office
family,
environment,
in your business, in your team. You know, is the 80-20 principle probably applies roughly to all of that. But there are a lot more kind and good people than there are evil people.
Yeah.
For sure. I think that we tolerate the evil ones.
Yeah.
Too much.
Well, yes, I mean, that was something else that we had spoken about, is what happens to people like the guy whose name I don't even know that committed this atrocious thing in New Zealand. like what happens to people like him? Do we just live with him?
Well, yes, we do, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And, personally, I believe that that's one of the problems
Yeah.
is that we view that human life as sacred, or he should be whacked. He should be exterminated.
Yeah.
If he was an animal, if he was a wild tiger or lion or whatever.
Or remember the whole thing with that gorilla that someone fell into the cage and he attacked a child because it fell into his cage. I mean, they get put down.
Correct.
Yeah.
They get put down. We have absolutely no qualms with that. We immediately blame and kill the animal.
Yeah.
But yet, a human being who is clearly not meant to be part of society. What do? We spend a lot of money, a lot of effort, I don't know, and just way too much of our time and energy to focus on.
Yeah.
Now, I know that my viewpoint is
controversial.
Well, never mind controversial. It's very simplistic because the one thing that I don't have an answer to is who will have the power.
Yeah, who holds the axe?
To decide. Decide. So I understand it's a very complex thing, but I do think that the fact that we are so tolerant with the evil in society, I think that breeds more evil.
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned this last week in the country we live in South Africa. Crime is such a big issue when we were saying what we're sick and tired of. Again, I mean, it seems to be that there's not much consequence for doing evil, which means that people aren't deterred from it. So more people are willing to try it, or if that's their means,
Yeah, there's very little consequence, and let's not get into the politics, but there's so many examples where those who are supposed to uphold the law are actually criminals themselves. Yeah. And there's a kind of different sets of standards or rules that apply there. So, but it is a complicated, complex issue to deal with. We certainly have no other choice but to believe that evil never wins.
Yeah.
And that's good. So if I could just bring this kind of back to our little environment in terms of FiveFriday environment. Yesterday I had the opportunity to share the results of our formula scoring with our team here in Cape Town. And that was incredible in just seeing that if we manage to get people to focus on a set of values or set of principles, the results that you can achieve through that. And I suppose at another time we'll chat a bit more in detail about that. But for me, it was just again that realization, seeing the results, seeing how people can come together. And remember the formula, we've got 10 elements that we must do more of, and then there are 10 elements which we must do less of. So not just kind of turning a blind eye to the things that, or if we just do the following. We're very specific about those things that we must do less of. And in terms of the guy's explanation, the things that we must do less of are more the hard kind of stuff. And it's fantastic to see through our scoring, the results of our scoring, how well we've done as a team.
Just from that awareness.
just from that awareness.
Yeah.
And I think if you kind of extrapolate that and you take that into bigger society and into nations and into the world, is the lack of, really strong principles that people can rally around.
Well, I think it's also the whole idea of our formula is that we're all working towards a common goal, that right-hand side of our equation. So we know what the outcome is that we're looking for, where as a bigger society, I don't think we have that common goal is, like, I suppose it's just to be good human beings and live as a good society. But what does that mean? It means different things for different people. So it's really difficult to motivate everyone to work towards a same common goal.
Yeah, there's something else to consider here. We know from the beginning, in terms of our formula, we said that this is our future aspiration.
Yeah.
We know and understand that we're not there yet. This is something to work towards. But if we take that to so many other things that, so we talk about nations, and every nation in the world believes it. We're the best.
Yeah.
We're the smartest. We're the, which is bullshit.
Mm.
There isn't. So do you think that we kind of start off by lying to people about certain things? In other words, the fact that you are born, I don't know, pick a nation, look at the national anthem, look at the Constitution, look at the whatever, Every single one of them claims that
we are the greatest nation.
Yeah. I don't even want to go into some of the details. So, But each and every one will kind of have some divine right or whatever that says that the light shines on us and we are.
Yeah.
And don't you think that also contributes to the fact that, I understand the concept behind nation building and all of those things, but remember, we're kind of jumping here between.
Yeah.
We're jumping here between kind of smaller groups of communities, if you will.
Yeah.
Back into quite big and complicated things, but you can take that to school, university, any kind of group, people, that once you get allowed into that community, you kind of given that almost that sense of, well, I'm special now.
Yeah.
The group are special now.
And buy into all of their, Yeah.
So we really need to take a look at ourselves, obviously, first in terms of what is it that we tolerate? How do we eradicate the evil? Where can you start?
Well, it's like you just said, you start with yourself. It's the individual. I mean, I've always thought when I see some people getting outraged about things that don't affect them personally, I'm always quite, I don't know, surprised that it's really such a big deal to that individual. I don't know if I'm explaining myself very well here, but I just feel like if the individual treated everyone that they come into contact with love, respect, kindness, and all of those things, that we'd already be a step closer to a better society. But it feels like there is a lot of hatred amongst individuals. I mean, even in our small groups.
Yes,
I don't know.
Can I just take this back into kind of the incident that you described, and so do you want us all to treat this person who perpetrated this crime with love and respect and dignity? And
so my initial thought would have been no, but thinking about it now, I don't know. I think kindness can go a really long way. I know I am a dreamer. I was actually talking to my sister-in-law, this is a bit off track, but about how she raises her child, and I asked if they discipline their child, a 2-year-old. And she told me that they prefer to show their child that that is not necessarily the only way to deal with things, to shout and to smack and to they want to show. So she said to me, sometimes when she's being naughty, they just give her a hug and tell her that she's loved. I don't know, it sounds very airy-fairy, but I always think, I mean, this is me being the optimist again, but I always think love wins. And if you show everyone love and kindness and respect, it's very hard for someone to be terrible to you if you're being loving to them. So I don't know. I want world peace.
Of course you want world peace. We all want world peace. But
yeah.
So none of those people were killed for no reason, showed any animosity or anything. So, I mean, what's so crazy about this is these are all people that this guy never met or knew before in life.
Yeah.
And you see that so often when an act like this is committed, you know. And even in a smaller scale, when somebody is robbed or killed because somebody wanted your cell phone or your watch or your car or whatever. So there's absolutely nothing that said that that person would not have been treated the way that you describe now.
Yeah.
And yet you're saying that we must do that.
I don't know. I don't know what we must do.
It's complicated. It's complicated topic, and in principle, I want to agree with you.
But it's all, I mean, it's one of those things that you can't change the effects of 30 years or however long that person wasn't shown. So like by showing someone love now in a small instance, it's not going to make up for all of the years that he wasn't shown love. So I don't know.
It's something that we can maybe revisit this topic and kind of explore some of the other areas that you kind of ventured into now in terms of the, nurture. Kind of how to raise a child and the different schools of thought in terms of, Freudian versus Adlerian psychology and so on.
Nurture versus nature. And,
I think it goes a little bit further than just the nurture versus nature.
Yeah.
Because again, principle, agree with things that you say about making sure that a child feels loved and so on and so forth. But you know what? I would love to kind of see the reaction if the child pokes you in the eye with a spoon or something like that. Whether it'll still just be a hug.
My question was more if it's something that harms them, like if they stick their finger in a plug or run in front of traffic or something like that. I think that's a good case for discipline because it's something that you want to show them that if they do something like that, they could hurt themselves. Anyway. But that's all different. A different topic for a different day. It's
a different topic for a different.
I don't think there's an agreement or a conclusion here on the title of this podcast.
I'm still going to call bullshit on it.
I'm not sure.
I love to be convinced.
Exactly. I want it to be true, and I know it's a weasel word, but I need it to be true because otherwise I don't know how I would be able to live if it wasn't true that evil never conquers, love wins. You know that.
It's something, it could be the right-hand side of the equal in terms of a formula. So something that we should aspire to,
Well, I was just thinking when we were talking about it now, it would be so nice to kind of do a formula for Johannesburg, for South Africa, for the world, if that was possible, is to kind of do an idea of what the ideal would be, the top 10 things that as a society we should be doing more of and doing less of in order to achieve the love wins right-hand side of the equation.
Well, that's a brilliant challenge to put to the Blueprints team.
And we could help
Mr.
them.
Guy Martin will be chatting to you about a formula.
Yeah. Cool. Well, it was just kind of a chat, a discussion. And I want to just read that quote again because I love it. And it would be so great if this was true, that every act of evil unleashes a million acts of kindness. This is why shadows will never win while there is still light to shine. So I just think if everyone that has a little bit of light to shine can shine it, share that love, maybe we'd be in a better place as a society. Who knows?
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ali.
Cool, thanks.